Beyond the Obvious. And today I have my special guest from rock bottom to top 1% agent, executive leader, real estate strategies, and advocate for real life changing impact. No other than Mr. Brad Reasoner.
Thanks so much,
Well,
Daniel. I'm so excited to be here.
welcome, Mr. Brad on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on this podcast. I've been looking forward to it all week. I have been in corporate executive leader for over 15 years. I've transitioned to real estate over the last few years based on personal growth, personal loss. I overcame some challenges, addiction, divorce, cancer at 34 years old. So really drove me to just a different perspective on life, different perspective on relationships. And I'm here to talk about how we kind of blend business and personal relationships today.
Yes, and thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Brad. Thank you. And today, let's talk about the real estate is not about homes. It's about trust, timing, and life decisions. You say real estate is about homes. It's about trust, timing, and decision. What's a specific moment in your journey taught you the lesson so deeply that become your professional philosophy?
Yeah, it was it was an entire year, Daniel, that really shaped this for me. When I relocated across the country during COVID, I didn't know anyone here. I didn't have any connections. Ended up getting divorced, lost my job, lost my house, and um, being diagnosed with cancer all in the same 12 months. It was a lot to take. And for me, I didn't have a home, right? I lost it. And so for me, um, that profound loss that year really shaped how I approached people, um, how I approached this process. It's actually what drove me to do real estate full time, follow my passion, and it's what shaped my understanding of the human experience. This house, the four walls, it's so much more than that. Your home is something that is emotional. It is where you grow. It is where you grieve. It is where your children make memories. It's where you make money on your equity, right? That shapes the rest of your life. And so, for me, losing everything really put into perspective why this is so important to the people I'm helping, and it really took it deeper for me. And I care so much about my people because again, this isn't just a place to put their head. This is a place to flourish, to grow, and there's also the negative side of it. There's divorce, there's death, there's job loss, things like that too. So I think just understanding and appreciating the human element is really what came from all that loss. And I think it's what separates me and why my career has taken off so quickly, because I don't even really focus on the transaction. I just focus on the person or the family, and the transaction kind of takes care of itself, so to speak.
Very well said and inspiring, Mr. Brad. You most agents sell houses. You sell stability during life's most chaotic moments. How do you explain that difference to a client who thinks they're just looking for square footage and countertops?
Well, I think it starts, it's such a great question. I think it starts with the questions that I ask. I think it starts with the deep dive that I do into their family, to their situation. And when I start asking those questions that they haven't thought of, you know, depending on, you have a teenager, well, they're gone in 4 years. So what are you thinking about doing with the space after? Are you going to stay in this home long term? Or if you're getting ready to have children, is this the only one? Are you planning on others? Do you want to be prepared for others? So I think just the fact that I spend a half hour to an hour not even talking about the house, just their family, or even just them if it's an individual. What is your goal? What is your purpose? What is your reason behind doing this purchase? It allows me to craft a strategy for them, and that means I can help influence what the right house might be, what the right structure of the deal might be. And so my people go into every home tour knowing not only why this house might be right for them, why it might be wrong for them, and if there's some things that don't necessarily line up, how can we fix it? What can we do? Is this something that we can fix, we can update, we can renovate, or does this not make sense for you? And then lastly, how are we going to afford this property? And that's the other thing, is just because you can pay for it doesn't mean you should pay that amount for it, right? And so I want to find out why this price range, why this house fits into your budget, why it provides stability for your family, and then how can we make it even more affordable so you can still have fun, have a life, do things outside of your home. And so my job is really to understand how this home fits into their life, and not that their whole life revolves around this house. Because if you stretch yourself or you have the wrong strategy, then you're pretty much house poor, as people have said in the past, right? You want to be able to enjoy life too. You want to be able to enhance the house with furniture or outdoor experiences and things like that. And if you stretch yourself too much, you miss out on the opportunities that a house brings. For me, I want to understand the why, and then we put the strategy around that. And then that's what makes it from just a house to really kind of flourishing your life.
Well, Mr. Brad, thank you so much for doing that. And we salute you. You work with executives, athletes, and relocating families, people in high stakes transitions. What do they understand about the emotional weight of home that average buyer might not?
I think they're looking at it more as a financial investment than they're looking at it from the emotional perspective. I think they understand how they can make the house work for them a little bit differently, right? Typically, executives or athletes have a higher budget, and so they're looking for different things. And again, I think what they appreciate the most is the time to understand their unique situation, their unique taste, and then again, it's custom and crafted to them. And so I think, when I ask those questions, even a family that's relocating, right, they're not going to have connections here. They need to understand the schools. They need to understand the doctors. They need to understand the neighborhoods. They need to understand where the grocery store is. Whereas people that have lived here, I don't need to focus on that as much. I need to focus on the numbers. I need to focus on where they're going next, how they make this a good investment. So again, it all comes back to the custom strategy that starts with asking the right questions about their situation. And then I'm able to tailor it to that. So I think what they understand at a different level is how to make the house work for them financially instead of the other way around. They know how to manipulate the system. They understand the numbers, and they're able at a higher level to make the house work for them long term.
Over 14 months, you faced divorce, layoff, cancer, and losing your home. When you were in the middle of that, not knowing the ending, what kept you giving up entirely?
My faith and my daughter. Um, I was in between surgeries. I was in between the cancer surgeries, laying in the hospital. I was defeated, depressed. Um, it was very hard, and I kept asking, "Why, God? Why all of this? Why me? Are you letting this happen?" And my sweet child looked at me and said, "Dad, maybe you should be grateful that God got you through all of this." And that really flipped the switch. Um, Not only made me feel like I was doing something right as a father, but also that she's right. He did get me through all of this. I am through this, and I did beat it. And so, to be honest, that shift in perspective, that little bit of a twist to gratitude, despite the pain and suffering, has completely transformed my life, Daniel. It has taken off since then. And I am so blessed to have the clients and friends that I do, the work that I'm able to do, because I view it as stewardship now. And I think, like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, this is so much more than just a transaction to me. And I think that's why I'm having the success that I'm having, because I care so much about the people that I'm having that success with. And keeping the focus on them and their story, it actually allows me to steward them into the next part of their life. And I think that it's that was what was so transformational for me in that moment of loss, was my sweet daughter just looking at me and just reminding me what life is really about.
And we salute you for not giving up. Mr. Brad, you need an applause for that. Thank you for inspiring
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Truly, truly empowering. You took real estate a class during cancer recovery. What's the practical decision or a spiritual one or something else entirely?
So anyone you ask in my life, my family, my friends would tell you that real estate has been a passion since I was a kid. Not only just watching the shows, but just loving to be in houses, to help flip them, to move. I moved probably 18 times as a child in my life, so lots of moving around. So I got to experience a lot of different versions of homes and what that looked like. It's always been a passion for me, but I was afraid to take the risk because it's pure commission. I had a daughter. I was a single father, and to go from a salaried position with benefits to nothing was always really scary. Um, and so I always had my toes in it with the corporate relocation, but I never took the leap. And I firmly believe that God sat me down so I would do what I'm supposed to do. And I wasn't listening. I didn't take the leap. I didn't take the trust. And so it was kind of forced on me, I would say. God sat me down and said, you need to follow what this is your calling. And so I firmly believe it was very spiritual that in the lowest moment, that was the clearest thing to me to do. And I am so grateful that I was able to open my mind and follow through because it has changed my life and quite a few of the people that I've supported so far changed their life too. Um, More than half of them didn't think they could afford a home, thought they'd be stuck renting, and we got them a home within a couple weeks. So of that. So I think I'm just so grateful that that spiritual awakening push came to me in between those surgeries because I honestly can tell you, had it not happened, I probably wouldn't be in real estate right now.
It happened for a reason. Definitely, Mr.
Yeah.
Brad. Your mother was adopted and your grandmother modeled you giving back. How do those early
Yeah.
influences prepare you for the resilience you'd needed later?
My grandmother had no money, um, zero. She only ever worked as a caregiver. We lived in a very small town, a couple stoplights back in Ohio, and she babysat the children of the neighborhood. That's what she did for over 60 years. And so she raised multiple generations of the same family, the parents, their kids, and then their grandkids. That's what she did. But she was always willing to give the shirt off her back, even though she didn't have another shirt to put on, right? She was just that person. And so the empathy and the support and the care that she gave to every person really stood out to me. And when I was a young kid, I didn't really understand it. I help babysit, so I think that's why I'm so good with kids. But I didn't understand the impact she was having on the world until my grandfather's funeral. My grandfather was hard. He was a war veteran. He was rough around the edges, and so when he passed, the line of people at his funeral were there for my grandmother to honor her, and I was standing next to her, just seeing every person come up and just say, "Do you remember me? You raised me. You raised my kids." And they were just so grateful for that little bit of time they spent with her. And I'm like, you were a child. How do you remember the impact this woman had on you? Because you haven't seen her in a decade. And so just that compassion that she showed to every person, the love that she gave them has really stuck with me. It's why I want to give back so much because without her adopting my mom, I probably wouldn't be here. And when she passed, it was very hard on me. Still is. Um, but I try to honor her with how I treat people and just putting myself in their shoes. Um, yeah.
Very well said. Mr. Brad, very well said. You build trust quickly with elite clients who are typically skeptical. What is the fastest way to lose a client's trust? And what is the fastest way to earn it?
Well, that's a great question. Um, I think for me, preparedness and strategy. When you're talking with elite people, you need to be able to take things off of their plate. You need to be seen as the expert. You need to be seen as a problem solver. And so for me, that comes all back to the same thing about asking the right questions, understanding, and then showing up prepared. And I think the quickest way to lose trust is to talk out both sides of your mouth. And what I mean by that is to always be quick, always have an answer. That's just not reality, right? You might know most things off the bat because of your expertise, but I think you earned the trust by sometimes letting them know when you don't, and letting them know when, but you'll figure it out, right? I'll get you the answer. I think that goes a long way with people. That I think it humanizes you, because I'm still a person. I'm very good at my job, but I'm still a person, and I still don't know everything. And 15 years from now, I still won't know everything in real estate because things are changing all the time. So I think just the humility and the preparedness earns the trust, and the quickest way to lose it is by being too quick, too rushed, and to overpromise. I think elite clients want trust, they want strategy, they want expertise, but more importantly, they want the truth.
Definitely truth, but nothing but the truth. You've seen the market on both sides, a buyer forced to sell during personal crisis, and now as an agent guiding others. How does the dual perspective inform your advice on when to wait and when to act?
Yeah, I think having been through it myself multiple times and in different phases of life, I think it provides perspective, as you said. And so for me, I'm always honest with my clients. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we talk for a half hour or an hour about them, not about the house. And in that, I tell them my story. I want them to understand that this isn't just my job that provides expertise. This is my life experience too. And so I want them to understand that I've bought investment properties. I've bought and sold multiple houses. I've done these things personally. And so when I'm giving advice, it isn't just something that I'm telling them to do. It's something I'm doing myself. And I'm happy to share and show them that. And I think that also builds trust, because it's like, oh, not only is he an expert in this area, he's living what he's saying. And I think that goes a long way with people, especially in the high stress, high emotion environment of buying a home. The financial investment that comes with it adds stress. And so just understanding the person in your corner not only knows what to do, but they're practicing what they preach.
Mm, certainly. You work with the clients during divorce, relocation, career changes, and health crisis. When someone is making the biggest financial decision of their life while also processing profound personal change, what do they need most from you?
Calmness. They need someone who is steady, and they need someone who understands and gives them the space to just be a person, right? Like the house stuff we can figure out. That's not the hard part. That's
Hmm.
easy. The hard part is the emotional toll that the other piece is taking on them. And I think sitting with them, being with them in that moment, and letting them have that overwhelming feeling and not diminishing it, just letting them feel it, letting them be there in the moment, and sharing it with them. I think that builds trust, that builds compassion, that builds relationships. And I don't want to just be done with them when they close a deal. Most of my clients become my friends. I am going to a cookout after this for a client of mine that's having me over as soon as we're done here, because they become friends. I didn't know them before I met them. My daughter's babysitting a couple other clients this weekend, their children. So for me, it's way beyond the deal. And I think in those moments, you just need to be a human and not an agent, right? And I think that's the most important thing. And I think if you look at any of my reviews, every single one of them says how much I care and how available I am. And I just want to be there for you in whatever capacity that is. There's people I've worked with for a year and a half before they bought a home, because they were just going through so much, but I was always checking up on them. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of ways in the world, but also in real estate, just being a person first.
Being the person, definitely. You've quoted pain is the gatekeeper of destiny. How do you help client embrace the pain of a major life transition rather than running from it?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think pain is a teacher. It's here to shape us, to form us, and to drive us to where we're meant to be. I think that it goes back to what my daughter said, to be grateful, um, to have the opportunity to get through those things. And I think the mindset around pain, the mindset around trouble, the mindset around depression, I think all of those negative emotions and feelings can be used for the positive if you look at it the right way. Yeah, it's real hard when you're going through it, but there's only one person that can get you through that. I'm in therapy right now still. I go to my somatic therapist to help me continue to grow and evolve, but it doesn't matter how much I talk to someone or how much I share my feelings if I'm not putting the work in to change my mindset. And so the mindset is key to understanding that this pain is temporary. It's here to teach me something. I'm here to grow from this and to get through it. It's really hard in the moment to see it. And I get that. It was really hard for me too. But I think just flipping the script and looking at it as a blessing, looking at it as an opportunity to grow or learn or change your career, change your life. Something is forcing this to happen, and look for what it's changing in you or what it's changing you into.
Definitely yes. So, Mr. Brett, you serve on a gift on adoption fund board, helping to raise youth find families. How does that work inform your real estate practice and vice versa?
Um, it's a talking point, to be honest. I don't focus on it too much in terms of sales or anything like that because I just care so much about giving back. Um, I definitely put it out there because I want people to know there are resources. Again, you never know what someone's going through, whether they're struggling to get pregnant, whether they're looking to adopt. I think the thing that I do the most is it's just part of the introduction, it's part of the conversation. I want them to know that I am not just out here doing deals, I'm out here helping shape the community. I'm out here helping people grow, and not just with their house, but their family, adding to their family, supporting their community. Um, and adoption is so wonderful. There's so many things that come from it that are positive, and yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of things that are challenging about it, um, but I think you know it all bleeds together into the human element of this. It's all about looking beyond the actual transaction, right? The actual moment or the activity, buying a house, adopting a child. All of it goes way beyond just what you're doing. It's about who you are as a person, what you're going through, and how that's shaping the future of your life. And I think it just all is, it's all encompassing of just the human spirit, the human emotions, the human mindset. It's all shaping that. All of these things have a major impact on you emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and it can be draining or it can be exciting. And so, how you choose to look at that is what really shapes it. And for me, I usually use those just as benchmarks or as talking points for why I care so much. And then, kind of depending on how my clients receive it, we either talk more or less.
Mr. Brett, to wrap up our discussion for today, you've quadrupled your income since moving to Denver and reached top 1% of an agent. What's next professionally and personally that still scares you a little bit? Hmm.
Yeah, that's such a great question. Um, I don't want to set ceilings. I want goals that scare me. I want them that seem unattainable. So I'm trying to be the top agent in all of Colorado. That's my goal.
Good luck for that, Mr. Brad, and looking forward for more success. Keep up the good work. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, absolutely. Please follow me on Instagram. That's where you can see all of my wins, my podcasts, the articles, and all of my client stories. Or if you'd want to book me for an interview or an article, please go to my website, and I'd love to chat with you.
Yes, definitely, people. Support Mr. Brad Reasoner because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this to rise. So I have one more question, Mr. Brad. If you could whisper one truth into the ear of every person facing a major life transition, divorce, loss, relocation, illness, about what calm or what home cannot provide, and would it be?
I would just say believe in yourself. Pick yourself up. It's okay to be sad today, but get off the floor tomorrow. Get up, pick yourself up, and keep pushing through. You're going to be okay. And the proof is you're here today. You'll be okay tomorrow too.
It's okay not to be okay, people, and count your blessings. Count your blessings and be thankful for everything. So, Mr. Brett, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, people. See you soon.